Every time your dog sits by the table staring at your food, you call it begging, but that's not what's actually happening. Your dog is running a strategy they learned works on you, and once you see it clearly, you will never look at begging the same way again. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what your dog is communicating in that moment. You will also understand why feeding into it might be making the behavior worse over time. This isn't about bad manners. It's about something deeper going on inside your dog's mind. Most owners think begging is just a bad habit, something dogs do because they're greedy or spoiled. But that explanation misses what's really going on underneath. Dogs don't beg out of greed. They beg because at some point it worked. Somewhere along the way, that stare, that whine, or that paw on your knee got results. And once a dog learns something gets a reaction, their brain holds on to it. So, begging isn't a flaw in your dog's character, it's a learned strategy built entirely on how you responded the first time it happened. Here's where it gets even more interesting. That same behavior, the staring, the hovering, the waiting by your chair, can actually mean three completely different things. And most owners respond to all three the exact same way. Today we're breaking down what each one really means, starting with the most common one of all. The first reason your dog hovers near your food has nothing to do with emotions. It's pure learning. Dogs are constantly testing what gets a reaction from you, even when you don't realize it. If staring at your plate ever led to a bite of food, even once, your dog's brain logged that as a winning move. It doesn't take repetition for this to stick. Sometimes one single moment is enough to build a lasting pattern. Think back to a time you slipped your dog a piece of chicken off your plate, just once, just because they looked so hopeful. In that moment, you didn't just share food. You confirmed a theory your dog was testing. You told them, without meaning to, that staring works. From that point forward, your dog isn't guessing anymore. They're repeating a behavior that already proved successful. This is the most common version of what looks like begging, and it's also the easiest one to accidentally create. You don't need to reward it every time for it to stick. Even occasional success is enough to keep the behavior alive, sometimes even stronger than constant rewards would. Take a second and think back. Can you remember the exact moment you taught this without realizing it? Most owners can once they really stop and think about it. It's rarely intentional. It's usually a soft moment, a guilty glance, a just this once decision that quietly became a habit. But here's the thing. Not every dog staring at your plate is doing it purely for the food. Some dogs are doing it for a completely different reason, one that has nothing to do with training at all. Some dogs hover near food, not because they're greedy, but because they're insecure. This version of begging often gets misread because on the surface it looks identical to the learned behavior we just talked about. But the cause underneath is completely different. Dogs with a history of scarcity, whether from a rough early life, a shelter background, or competing with other dogs for food, often develop a different relationship with mealtime. For these dogs, food isn't something they trust will always be there. It's something they feel they have to watch closely just in case it disappears. If you look closely, the body language often tells a different story than typical begging. A dog who's anxious about food usually holds a tenser posture. Their stare is more fixed, less relaxed. There's often very little tail movement, almost a stillness, compared to the loose, wiggly energy of a dog who's simply hoping for a treat. Picture a rescue dog who was adopted a few months ago. Even with a full bowl twice a day, every single day, they still hover by the table, eyes locked on every bite you take. It's not about manners. It's about a nervous system that hasn't fully learned yet that food is reliable now. That kind of insecurity doesn't go away just because circumstances have changed. The brain often needs time, consistency, and repeated proof before it starts to trust again. This is a quieter, more emotional version of what looks like the same behavior on the surface, and it deserves a different kind of response than the first one. But there's a third reason behind this behavior, and it might be the most overlooked one of all. It has nothing to do with food. For some dogs, sitting near the table during mealtime isn't about the food on your plate at all. It's about being part of what's happening around them. Dogs are deeply social animals, and mealtime for humans is a shared ritual, sitting together, talking, focusing on each other. When a dog is left out of that moment, even if they've already eaten, it can trigger a need to be included, not fed. This is one of the most misunderstood versions of begging because owners assume hunger every single time. But think about the dog who stares at you intensely, even right after finishing their own full dinner. They're not hungry, their stomach is full. What they're actually responding to is the energy in the room, the closeness, the attention being given to something other than them. In a dog's world, being near you during a high focus moment matters more than most owners realize. It signals inclusion, connection, and belonging to whatever is happening as a group. When that connection feels missing, some dogs will use the same behavior, the stare, the hover, the close sitting, to try to pull your attention back toward them. This is often the moment owners finally feel like they understand their dog on a deeper level. It's not manipulation, and it's not bad behavior. It's an emotional need showing up in a very physical, very visible way. If this is sounding familiar right now, drop a comment and tell me which one of these three matches your dog the most. I read every single one, and I'd genuinely love to know which signal you're seeing at home. Now that you understand the three different reasons behind this behavior, let's talk about what to actually do for each one. If your dog's behavior comes from learned reinforcement, the fix is consistency. Stop reinforcing the behavior, even occasionally, and redirect your dog before the staring even starts. If the cause is food insecurity, the solution looks different. Focus on building predictability around mealtime, same routine, same calm energy every single day. Over time, this consistency helps your dog's nervous system relax and trust that food isn't something to worry about. And if the real cause is connection seeking, the answer isn't about food at all. It's about meeting that need for closeness outside of mealtime through play, training, or simple one-on-one attention earlier in the day. When that need is already met, dogs are far less likely to chase it during dinner. None of these fixes require punishment or harsh corrections. They simply require understanding which signal you're actually dealing with. Once you know the real reason behind the behavior, the solution becomes much more obvious and much easier to apply consistently. So the next time your dog sits by your table, remember this. Begging was never really the full story. Your dog has been telling you something specific the entire time, whether it's a learned habit, quiet insecurity, or a simple need for connection. Understanding which one it is changes everything about how you respond. If this video helped you see your dog a little differently today, hit subscribe for more dog psychology breakdowns just like this one. And stick around because next time we're diving into another behavior most owners completely misread.